picture? It was a picture of a tall lady and a round person. Did anyone see it? If y'all didn't see it,
Huh?
it ain't gonna be as funny if you didn't see
lady
it.
in a round person.
People are really letting themselves go.
Oh my
God damn, nigga.
Okay.
Yeah, that brought me so much joy.
Hit me. I'm so slow.
Why you call that man round, Joe?
I'm not calling nobody nothing. No, if y'all
That's
saw
crazy.
it.
And Julian says that Rory and Mal sold all their rights away.
That's a terrible move. YouTube has a significantly larger reach than Netflix. Like, the ownership of, from what I saw, again, in like a 100 word, summary, from what I understand, they will no longer own their YouTube content. They gave up video rights, which again, I know we're speaking. Well, I'm saying that's what the article was.
Turns out
they don't own the YouTube rights, and the full video migration is going to Netflix, a platform with lesser reach than YouTube. I just don't think it's not even like I'm singling out Rory and Mal. I'm saying, does this really benefit any of those shows that are now moving from YouTube, which is much more user friendly, in like lower bar of entry, to a Netflix where there's more barriers?
Joe Budden calls Mal fat. All of this took place during the weekend. The fact that Joe Budden would make fun of his former co-host Mal for taking a photo with one of his show's followers and claiming he looked round is one of the main themes of this. In essence, he was stating, "Hey, Mal is overweight." This appeared to be a man's opinion expressed by someone who misses another man and is only able to laugh about a former acquaintance. For Joe Budden, this is a new low. In my opinion, Charlemagne's ratings in Atlanta, where he is consistently losing against Big Tiger, are higher than this. Nevertheless, Joe Budden wasn't the only person who would make fun of his former co-host. Julian would also consider the Netflix agreement that Mal and Rory signed. Julian claims that Rory Mal signed a contract with Netflix, thus ceding all of their rights to the streaming service. Julian believes that this is what took place. I have to admit that I'm not sure whether that's what happened. It's possible that they gave up the rights to the agreement. I would need to find out what Rory and Mal did. Since I don't see how Netflix would permit them to be on both YouTube and Netflix, I believe Julian is correct in this regard. They would probably seek the exclusivity rights, in my opinion. A lot will be revealed. We'll have to see if Rory and Mal need to keep posting only on Netflix and not on Patreon. That will tell me a lot about whether or not they hold their video rights, because in the majority of their transactions, Rory Mal has been able to keep a sizable portion of their ownership. Only time will tell if that's the case. I do believe that this is a wise decision for Rory Mal, mostly since the opinions will no longer be accessible to the public. I have noticed a decline in opinions, but there has also been a decline in opinions for many others, so we'll see. But let's get back to Joe Budden. Joe simply keeps shooting at Mal. I mean, I recall the moment he became impetuous and said something like, "I wish the best for Rory," and wasn't necessarily trying to touch upon Mal. I believe you will realize that Mal was the one who truly harmed Joe's feelings if you go back to the initial split all these years ago. Additionally, he has been able to refute his initial claim that Rory was the reason for the entire separation over time, because I believe he is aware of how much simpler it is to control Rory than Mal. Mal is unwavering. He is unlikely to change his views once he has made up his mind. Mal was the one who actually contributed to the story of the thief. Do any of you recall the time they performed the entire episode response? Joe is a thief. He is a cat burglar. He is unsteady. He is a sucker. In actuality, Rory never displayed that degree of hatred. I believe Joe is aware that disparaging Mal is the only way to truly exact revenge. Try playing Rory against Mal as well. And we must keep in mind that Imani and Rory are close friends, and it's possible that Joe and Rory still communicate, an enormous potential. In my opinion, They're unquestionably, at least I think, they're probably texting each other. They are probably using back channels to communicate. I just couldn't fathom a situation in which Rory is only talking to Imani and not Joe. I could envision a situation in which Imani would approach Rory and say, "Yo, I think it'd be cool if y'all could be peaceful, and maybe they could have some sort of conversation." And since I don't think Rory would want Joe making fun of, Mong, I would have to find out what he thinks. Another important aspect of this image is that the guy in it was a fan of Joe Budden and someone who was supposed to collaborate with him under the pretense of a public relations agreement, but it never worked out. Additionally, I think that person would go from working with Joe to working with Rory and Mal, thus trading viewers, becoming fans practically overnight, and riding with another part of what was once his show. Additionally, this individual would clash with Joe's girl on Twitter. As you can see, there isn't much drama with these people. On the surface, I believe that people are likely thinking, "Oh, Danny, it's just a picture." No, there is mad layers. To sum it up, Mal is taking a photo with a fan of his program who used to be a fan of Joe Budden's show, and someone who formerly wanted to collaborate with Joe on public relations. However, there's another caveat. After that, the individual tried to collaborate with Melissa Ford on public relations, but it didn't work out, and now they're showing up at the Ghostface Killer interview. This is essentially a tug-of-war over a fan in many respects. It only serves to highlight the layers of this and all that jazz, but I don't want to call it a tug-of-war, because I don't think either side is especially concerned to keep this fan in their circle or anything like that. Additionally, I mentioned Julian's statement and my thoughts on Rory and Mal's new deal earlier. Whether he wants to admit it or not, I believe Julian is still very much interested in what Rory and Mal are doing. I'm not sure if the word obsession is appropriate, but it's possible that he enjoys keeping an eye on them because he believes they made a lot of promises to him that they didn't follow through on, regarding independence or maintaining friendships. He now views these men as hypocrites and people who don't stand by their words because it didn't happen in that earlier manner. Joe dubbed Mal Fat Round once more. I'm not sure why I am aware that I have experienced blame-shaming, fat-shaming, and all of this. Man, pay attention. We take a seat and use microphones to communicate. Do you think we'll be in excellent shape? Of course, we may strive to be in excellent form, but Joe and the majority of the people who sit on these couches won't be. Joe hasn't been in the best of health, after all. Drake shared a picture of him strolling over to the Knicks game. Therefore, it might be advisable for him to refrain from body shaming. Joe, after all, is a volatile person these days. He resembles Ashanti, but he's far less handsome. I'm not staring at Joe in that way. Rather, I'm staring at Ashanti. I could picture him packing on the pounds, so he needs to be careful if he wants to make fun of other people's weight. This guy still consumes hot dogs, after all. He eats hot dogs as if it were 1992. Having said that,